So far what I have of my presentation that's supposed to be persuasive is my title slide, which is social media and its negative impacts on children and teens. And obviously I just have who it's by, which is myself, and this image just kind of showing hands with social media, phones, kind of everything that goes along with it. And I found this amazing template on the website Canva, and it kind of just gave me better images and kind of played with some colors and picking out the right ones for my presentation to make it more visually appealing, just because I wanted to work on that a little bit for my last presentation. So the first slide that I have is just some quick facts to kind of get the audience engaged. That shows that US teenagers spend at least 4 hours a day on social media platforms. Then I just have some imagery there. And then 1 in 5 teens visit or use YouTube constantly. And then once again, just some images to go along with it. I'm also trying to limit my wordiness. A lot of my classmates gave me feedback on my last presentation to just say limit the words in the slides. So that's what I'm trying to do. And then my index, I always feel like it's good to have an index just so my audience kind of knows what I'm going to go over. And so this is just a cool index with the colors and the arrow and just what I'm going to go over in order along with the topics that I'm going to address for each of these concepts that I'm going to go over. And my last slide is just a personal introduction. I still want to mess with the slides a little bit, but just showing a personal story this past summer about how I worked and just dealt with children at my job where I worked at a tennis center, where when they had snack break, they would just go on social media. And that's kind of what prompted me to do this topic on my presentation, just that experience. And then also just some stuff about me growing up and how I use social media and how I kind of grew up toward the beginning of social media really, growing and becoming a pretty much daily part of everyone's lives. So I have a couple sources in my outline I use a lot, but these main 4 are the ones that I'm going to be using when it comes to statistics and just for basic information. So this is the Addiction Center, which is about social media addiction, and there's a number you can call. It's a pretty credible source, and it just shows what a social media addiction is and how it affects the brain with some statistics and how to recognize it. This source is it's just a source about blue light with some doctors. It's from some doctors and a staff writer, and it's basically about how your sleep is affected through your phone and how that ties to social media. So this is from the Sleep Foundation, which is just going over a lot of things involving health and how sleep plays a part in it. And this source is from the Gallup, which is a pretty good source on how teens spend a lot of their time on social media. This is where I'm going to use a couple graphs. I think it's just great work, great survey work, and shows different numbers with age groups and genders as well. And lastly, this is probably the source that I'm going to be using the most, which is from the Pew Research Center. And it just is a survey from 2022 that really is when TikTok rose up. And as you can see right there, it just shows how TikTok rose up and Facebook usage dropped, and just shows some good graphs and imagery. So I think that'll be pretty good to include, and I'm really looking forward to this presentation just based on the feedback from my peers and also some of the self-reflection on how I want to pace myself better and just do a better job on my slides.